Wisconsin Badgers are getting ready for tonight's Sweet 16 showdown against the Florida Gators.
To get us ready for tonight's big game, we go live to News 8 Sports Director Greg Wavernick in New York City. Hi, Greg.
Good evening, Mike and Martha. Well, the scene you see behind me, Mustang Harries. We're about a block away from Madison Square Garden, hosting a pep rally that included the famous UW Marching Band, Spirit Squad, and of course, Bucky the Badger. Now, talking about tonight's game, both head coaches had to follow in the footsteps of legends. Of course, Greg Gard taking over for Bo Ryan about a year and a half ago, and Mike White following in the footsteps of two-time national champion Billy Donovan. Both now with Sweet 16 teams here in year 2 of their tenures, and actually Gard, just the third head coach over the past 20 years to lead his team to Sweet 16s in his first 2 years.
I think the one thing that I've tried to do is just be myself and not try to compare and contrast of what Coach Ryan did or how he did it. Obviously, I had great tutelage and a great mentor for a long time, almost a quarter century. So I learned a lot along the way. But one thing I've also learned is you have to be comfortable in your own skin, and I think Mike has probably that would apply to Mike too. For as terrific a job as Billy did there, Mike had to come in and be his own person.
I think Coach Gard said that from day one, that, hey, this isn't just me. This isn't just me that's going to be coaching you guys. We got a great group of guys around me, and really personal coaching staff that we can talk to and go to with questions or comments that we might have. So to have those guys kind of leading us every day, it's been awesome and really easy transition for us.
What do you have to like about Gard's team so far in 2 years, playing higher than his seed both times around as a 7, knocking off 2-seed Xavier last year, and last week as an 8, taking out number 1 Villanova. Will 4-seed Florida be up next? We'll find out a little bit later on tonight. Back to you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Greg. Those Badger fans getting all fired up, and the Badgers are scheduled to tip off just before 9 o'clock tonight. That's on TBS. News 8 at 10 will start following the game between UCLA and Kentucky on CBS.
Game day is here. Wisconsin and Florida tip off tonight around 9 p.m. on TBS. With the Badgers out in New York City is News 8 Sports Director Greg Wavernick, who joins us now live. Greg.
Good evening, Brian, and welcome back to the big Badgers pep rally. Just a couple-minute walk away from Madison Square Garden. Tonight's game could have a Big Ten feel to it. Florida, they like to win their games by playing defense. This season, averaging opponents 65 points per game while turning opponents over 15 times a game. Now, the Gators, it's their speed and athleticism on both sides of the court that pops up when players watch the film.
A lot of speed. They can get from point A to B a lot faster than I can get from point A to point B. So, I mean, that's just going to be something where our group defense is going to have to be more important than one-on-one defense. We're going to have to be in gaps and don't let them get any driving lanes where they can just go past the first guy and get right to the rim.
We're always ready to adapt to what type of game that is going to be played, whether it's up and down like Virginia Tech or whether it's a slower, more methodical game like Florida. We can play any style of ball, and I think that's what makes us dangerous.
Like all Badgers opponents, Florida facing the dilemma of how do you defend Wisconsin. As teams keyed in more inside on Ethan Happ as the season went along, it's created some great opportunities for guys like Bronson Koenig on the outside. Koenig, in his first round, had career highs in both points and three-pointers. He still scored 17 and with foul troubles versus Villanova, and maybe priority number 1 for Florida.
We've got to limit the amount of threes taken. Obviously, Koenig can't get anything easy. He's too good of a player. He's had an unbelievable run here as of late.
He's a great offensive player. I don't know about shutting him down, but I definitely can limit some of his touches and try to slow him down a little bit.
But they really do put you in a quandary, again, if that is the right word. I mean, if you're too extended on Wisconsin, Happ and Hayes are going to have a field day. And if you're too condensed, if you put too much emphasis on defending the interior and they get 20 threes off and Koenig gets 9 threes off, it's lose-lose.
Florida opponents shooting only 30% from behind the arc this season. That's 10th best in the nation. Bronson Koenig, meanwhile, 48% from 3 in this tournament. and 43% if you go back the last 10 games ever since he returned from that calf injury. Big matchup to watch tonight. Back to you now, Brian.